So you've probably seen the reporting out there. The Buffalo Naval Park, it says, two historic military vessels desperately need repairs, but millions of dollars in funding appears to be in limbo. And we're joined now by Adam Poole, the Parks Board Chairman here. So thanks for coming on in to talk about this $21 million, millions of dollars from, it appears, the state, also the city as well. Where do things stand with this entire project, again, to dry dock these vessels so that they can get the repairs they need?
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. So just wanted to clarify, there really hasn't been much change in terms of what we're trying to accomplish here. The $21 million is still in place. That funding is there for this project. The only thing that's really changed at the moment is just the timeline. So we're working with the city, working through their process, but the source of the funding, the $21 million, it comes from 4 sources, and it's complex in terms of how the dollars are used. So we really are working with the city, and we've tried to be patient with that process to make sure we meet those concerns and don't jeopardize the ultimate end goal of getting these ships into the dry dock.
Does it complicate things that you are receiving so much money from different entities out there? Is that really the problem, or is there more to the story?
There's a little bit more to it. So the city's the ultimate owner of the ships. So the grants were pledged in the city's name. So we have to work with the city through that process to make sure that we can get it there. Now, the Naval Park and the board and staff, we spent considerable time leading up to that process to make sure we had the right plan in place so that when we did get the ultimate goal of the $21 million, that we were ready to go. The issue now is, we're really waiting on some administrative delays. There was a marine management firm that was bid out to handle the project. That bid was awarded in February, so now we're about 4 months away from that, and we still have not engaged that management firm.
Yeah. Have you maybe reached out to them, see where things currently stand, and is this sort of par for the course in terms of doing business and trying to get something done that hopefully everyone will enjoy?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately the city owns the process, so we have to work within that. The issue is the ships aren't in a condition to wait for the process to play out. So we've tried to convey that level of urgency both to the state level and the city level. As you know, the state gave roughly $10 million to the project as well, so they're a stakeholder in this. So we're trying to move this forward as quick as we can, because ultimately we have an upcoming winter now, and we need, even though we're not getting the work done at the moment, we need to make sure that we get the preparations in place to ensure the ships will stay floating by the time we get them into the dry dock.
And would you prefer to be doing this work? I know you probably want to do it yesterday, right?
Exactly.
And already get underway. But in terms of where we're at right now with relatively dry weather, we're not getting snow, obviously. We're not getting sub-zero temperatures out there. Is now the time to try to do this work, or can you do it during the wintertime?
Well, it's an extremely complex project, so there are a number of things that need to happen before we can actually move the ships out, and those things all have to be done in a certain sequencing. So for us to start this project and get it out by October, it wouldn't happen now based on permitting, dredging, and other things that need to be done in the harbor. So ultimately, because of the limitations on the weather, we have to wait until next year, unless our goal was to start months ago to ensure the October 25. So now we're in October 2026, and we really need to get started and make sure we can meet that deadline. And
because of these delays, you guys have characterized it as a process that feels like there have been numerous delays. What happens to the ships at this point in time? Are they continuing to deteriorate in any way, or are they still at risk of potentially sinking like we had happened before? So that's the biggest concern of the board and the Naval Park, is that the ships are not in good condition, especially the Sullivans. So we had a number of flooding events that occurred this past winter, and it's pretty taxing on our staff, because even though the ships are owned by the city, the Naval Park is still responsible for the day-to-day maintenance. So when you take a small organization, and at some points in time during the winter, we had staff that were there 24/7 because they had to make sure the pumps were working and that the situation didn't get out of control. So ultimately, we really need to get this process moving to make sure that we can take care of these ships and get it there. And of course, these are ships, these are historic ships. There are attractions in the city of Buffalo. A lot of people go to Canal Side and to the waterfront to see them. You can see them from way afar. So we have tourists coming to the area. They want to be able to understand the history of Buffalo. Does this impact at all that type of programming for tourists and visitors to go and enjoy those ships and learn about them? Is anything being jeopardized along those lines?
No, at the moment you can still access all the ships. The only thing you can't do on the Sullivans is you can't go below the decks right now, but you can still access all the ships. And actually it's a great opportunity to educate and teach the public about this process, because it really could be a once in a lifetime thing for this to happen.
Yeah, so still safe, still educational, still go to the ships knowing that they do need to have some repairs, a lot of repairs done to them, and hopefully this process can work out.
That's what we're hoping for.
That's what we're hoping for. All right, Adam, thanks for the time. Really do appreciate it.